Yo, 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 what up, it's your boy Southside 860 back with another video. And today we got the breakdown for Daredevil Season 2, or Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 1. The breakdown, of course, none other by New Rockstars. So, yeah, let's get into it. This might be an ongoing series for the rest of the show. I was supposed to do the reaction for the trailer when it first came out. Or was it the most recent one? Anyways, one of the trailers that I was gonna do for Daredevil, I just missed it. I was caught up in my own head dealing with my own shit. But long story short, for the rest of the season, I'm gonna do the reactions to the breakdowns, and yeah. So let me know if y'all like it. And if y'all don't, well, then I guess y'all don't. But if you do like these reactions, let me know in the comment down below, please, 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 please. But yeah, let's get into it.
I'm Eric Boss, and this is a breakdown of Daredevil Born Again Season 2, Episode 1, The Northern Star. The first episode is now on Disney+. Next week, we're going to have 2 episodes, and then we're going to be weekly until the release of The Punisher one-shot special presentation, One Last Kill, coming May 12th. I guess to show where Frank Castle is during all of this, to set up his appearance in Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Is it right after? So March 31st, we get episode 2 and 3, and then May 12th is what? Literally 7 days after the finale. Okay.
Piece of the Punisher one-shot special presentation, One Last Kill, coming May 12th. I guess to show where Frank Castle is during all of this, to set up his appearance in Spider-Man Brand New Day. And every Tuesday night here on the New Rockstars channel, we will be breaking down these episodes scene by scene for all the Easter eggs, the interesting details, and the MCU connections that you might have missed. And I am wearing this Nelson, Murdoch, and Page shirt, you know, the law firm that Daredevil's still fighting for in his heart. And you can get this design exclusively at our merch store, nerdriot.shop, along with other great Marvel designs, and all of it goes directly to supporting what we do here at New Rockstars. Hey, if you grab this shirt or any other shirt we have on the store, take a photo with it, post it, tag us, and we will shout you out in a video. Episode 1 opens with the BB Report, produced by BB Urich, who, on the surface at least, is working with Mayor Fisk's Deputy Mayor of Communications, Daniel Blake, to help produce some pro-Fisk messaging, all while she continues to investigate her Uncle Ben Urich's murder,
Also,
which we
she's
saw in
still working for Fisk. I thought the way they left off last season, I thought she wasn't working for Fisk no more at all, like in no capacity whatsoever. So she's working for the deputy mayor. Oh, okay, okay. Like I said, I thought she stopped working for Fisk.
Season 1 in the Netflix era. Producers tell us that we are 6 months or so after the ending of Daredevil Born.
Has to be because, you know, she's trying to get more information about her uncle, so it would make sense. But damn, she got more heart than me, because I would not be able to work for that dude knowing what he did to my uncle. Hell nah. Oh my god.
Again, Season 1. And for a fuller recap of everything you need to know going into this season, you can watch this video that we made. We see a sign in the stock footage, New York Born Again, brought to you by Mayor Fisk. It's the new public revitalization campaign by the mayor's office. This season's keeping the Born Again moniker alive in this appropriated form by the mayor.
Oh yeah.
To him,
don't mind the ladder in the back of my behind me. Probably half of you didn't even notice until I said it.
Born Again is his positive spin on fascist takeover, as all vigilantism is outlawed. We see this optics-friendly female anti-vigilante task force officer giving a high five to a kid and hula hooping with them, and some pink balloons placed perfectly in the background, as a guy claiming that Fisk did fix it by bringing down the violent crime rates. Fisk can fix it was Fisk's campaign slogan when he was running early in Season 1 of Born Again. But this dude looks way too happy and is either a paid actor or someone just too afraid to be on camera talking shit. And there is this dark little detail right away at the beginning of this episode in the BB Report, as the balloons that we thought were all pink move. Some balloons the color of red blood shift with the rest of them to uncover one of the New York Born Again signs having been tagged with graffiti, "Fuck Fisk." We actually pushed it on this directly later on in the satirical edit of this, but maybe BB is intentionally leaving this in the background of the positive cut to form a little jab at the mayor in order to plant the seeds of how she really feels. At night, a cargo boat called the Northern Star cruises up the river as Daredevil, perched on the bridge above, listens.
Just look at that suit, bro. I know I paused it at the worst time, but like, dude. Oh, anyways, just look at his suit, bro. Oh my god, I thought we were gonna have to wait to get this suit. Like, I thought it was gonna be like a big reveal type thing. Like, his other suit was gonna get messed up and he was gonna have to go get it repaired, but he ended up getting a new one. You know, this and the third. But nah, dude, I'm happy they just boom started with it, cause like, dude, that suit is so fire, bro. Especially with the double D's. Oh my god, dude. Like, That shit looks amazing, bro. That shit looks amazing.
Nomenclature of this ship recalls the Lemurian Star, the boat that Captain America Steve Rogers covertly boards in a nighttime raid in the opening sequence of 2014's Captain America Winter Soldier. I guess this scene is kind of Daredevil's version of that. As the ship goes beneath the bridge, you can barely make out Daredevil slinging down to it. And
I didn't even notice that.
Hears him, followed by the second.
I didn't even notice that.
On the deck is blue, contrasting with the red lights in the storage room. Directors Benson and Moorhead love to use a red, white, and blue palette with colored lights. Red representing Daredevil, blue representing Bullseye, and white representing Mayor Fisk. In this cargo room, we see Daredevil's horned shadow in the upper right, and then it slips down as Matt's cable billy club zips out to knock out the guard, who gets off a single shot to the door to let in a single beam of light to spill in. This beam of light causes this awesome reveal of Matt's new suit. And
bro, just look at that. Look at that. And that's just the chest. It's just them double D's, feel me? Sorry, let me stop. But yeah, like, dude, just look at that, bro. Look at that. Ugh, amazing.
Chest emblem. Matt now wears a...
And look at that cowl too, bro. The cowl from the original Netflix series, the suit was fire from the original Netflix series. But this cowl, the mask that he wears this time, it fits so perfect. The one from the Netflix show made his forehead so big, bro. Like, it was like this damn near his forehead with the mask. But this fits his face perfectly, or should I say his head sculpt. But yeah, beautiful, beautiful suit.
Mostly black suit, inspired by Daredevil's black suit in the 2010 Shadowland comic storyline. And when we see the suit throughout the season in better light, you can see some bits of red still coming through, because Matt clearly just spray painted black over his old suit that he was wearing at the end of season 1. And he has this bright red interlocking DD emblem on his chest, making this the first time Daredevil has ever worn a chest emblem in the MCU. We know this DD logo will be something that Matt will achieve via stencil at some point this season. But this shot of Matt is a perfect example of what's called the 30-60-10 design rule, which is employed to create balanced, harmonious color schemes. 60% to the dominant color in the image, 30% the secondary color, and 10% the accent color. 60% of this opening frame is the blue toned light used to highlight the texture and silhouette of Matt's black suit and mask, which fills everything on the left side of the frame, including Matt's whole head and his chest. Roughly 60% of the frame. 30% of the frame is the red secondary color, the background of this particular room, and 10% of the frame is the beam of white light, or the accent color caused by the bullet hole. Just in general, great composition here. Matt flips and kicks one guard and then punches two more, and he breaks the arm of another, causing the bone to break through the skin. And then all the security cameras...
That was them letting us know, like, yeah, we back. We back.
Get taken out, and then in an uncharacteristically sloppy move, Matt picks up a camera, giving it a big close-up of his chest and his lower face before he palms it. But the bullet hole, Matt realizes, opens to a hidden compartment separate from the other cargo. He punches through this dummy plywood wall to find crates and crates filled with weaponry and munitions. Meanwhile, the Cyprus-based captain, Achilleo Kyriako, and his first mate, Christofi Sava, follow their orders to flood the ship if they were to be boarded. The aspect ratio widens on Matt hearing their next move, and then narrows again on this.
That is so awesome. I'm sorry, I know I keep pausing, but hey, it's my video. I do what I want. But yeah, like, dude, the way they like translate or how you say it, visualize his radar sense to screen is amazing, especially with the aspect ratio changing and then getting smaller whenever he's trying to focus in on whatever he's listening to. It's awesome. Awesome directing, awesome visuals.
Ticking watch. Remember, Benson and Moorhead used this in season 1, particularly when Matt heard Foggy's phone call outside Josie's in the first episode, as a way of showing Matt's devil sense, his hyper-awareness for something bad about to happen. This same aspect ratio shift will happen with Cherry's heart attack at the end of this episode. Matt grabs the ticking watch to throw in the gun crate, presumably so that he can later hear this ticking locate the crate. The floodwater rushes up toward Matt, and he miraculously washes up ashore while the Northern Star capsizes vertically in the background. Yeah, a boat this big will not fully submerge in the East River, which is typically only 30 to 40 feet deep. At most, it's 70 feet deep at points. If this season wants us to see Matt as a patriotic revolutionary trying to overthrow a king, we could see this opening salvo as Matt's Boston Tea Party. In this case, I guess the East River Diaper and Gun Party. The opening credit imagery from season 1 returns in season 2. Remember, the Netflix era showed the credit imagery as oozing blood on all these shapes and gargoyles of the city. Now the Born Again opening titles.
Which intro do y'all prefer? The original or the new one? Because when I first seen the first season, the intro, like, right away, I liked it. I messed with it. But, like, damn. It's just something, it could be the nostalgia talking, but, like, damn, dude. It's just that original was just so fire, bro. Especially with the blood coming down, the music, and like, I for sure prefer the old music though, the original music from the Netflix series. So yeah, I for sure prefer that version. But like the visuals, when it comes between the blood or the like the cement or the rock, whatever, breaking down or and coming together, I don't know, cause they're both fire. They're both fire. Like, but yeah, if you had to choose, which one do you prefer, the original intro or the new intro?
Depict many of the same statues of the city as just brittle stone that crumbles and reforms into Daredevil in this born again era. And I gotta point out that among the familiar images and shapes, there is an NYPD badge numbered 1964, which is the year that Daredevil debuted in Marvel Comics. After the credits, Matt returns to Josie's bar. Remember, that's where Matt, Karen, Cherry, Angie Kim, and a few other good cops gathered at the end of season 1 to begin the anti-Fisk resistance. Now they're using some new gutted out room in the back as a hideout, where Karen works out on a wooden martial arts dummy. Seems like she's using some stick-inspired training that Matt probably would have turned her onto. We see a radio set to 2-465.567 something. It's some specific frequency that they are using to communicate as they investigate the Northern Star weapons transfer, and Matt proves himself once again the sluttiest MCU character. Our man cannot help himself. Mayor Fisk observes the wreckage with his team, including his aide Sheila Rivera. Sheila recently showed up in the trailer for Spider-Man Brand New Day last week, so we'll be keeping our eye on her this season. It has been confirmed that Brand New Day takes place after the events of this season of Daredevil. The camera frames Frisk in the from behind shot as he hides his rage from the others and calculates his response as he frames this wreckage as a terrorist attack so that he can use this to further keep public sentiment against the vigilantes. Then we meet Mr. Charles, Matthew Lillard, a new character this season in a bar in Washington,
I already love
D.C.,
this
taking
character.
a call from some superior calling the situation a clusterfuck. He stuffs this burner phone in his cocktail. We can assume from later this episode by the mention of Miss DeFontaine that Mr. Charles is taking this call from Val, who remains a director of the CIA in the MCU despite the impeachment hearings that she was facing in the Thunderbolts film. Lillard has described his character as a CIA operative, so this tracks.
So he
We'll
does
be
work
talking
for
more
CIA.
about this character, but I'm curious about this gold ring that was clinking against his glass as the scene began. Is this a Hydra ring or some other golden engraving? Or is the
I don't think
clinking
so.
just some nervous tick that's going to become important in some other way? Karen tells Matt that her contact is named Jess, and it was apparently this Jess who pulled the ship manifest in the names of the captain and first mate. This has got to be Jessica Jones, right?
has
Matt
to
and Karen
be.
did make a big deal in the previous scene of some mystery female that Karen was in touch with to help her get the information. The room they're staying in looks like it used to belong to a wardrobe designer or a hairstylist.
And because obviously she was in the trailer.
We pushed in on an empty dummy head that match cuts to Fisk's bald head, but the brown wig we saw also seems to be one of the wigs Karen Page wears when she's out and about to keep a low profile. If you ask me, Deborah Ann Wool seems to be even more noticeable wearing these big wigs. I get it, blondes have more fun, but brunettes get more done. Fisk meets with Lieutenant Governor Juan Gomez and New York State Attorney General Steve Rudd, who both demand more oversight from Albany on Fisk's Safer Streets initiative and upcoming vigilante trials. Mr. Charles arrives late with a pound of euro. It's interesting that we only learn his name is Mr. Charles when Fisk fills it in.
And Mr.
Charles. Mr. Charles.
Yeah, doesn't it seem like it's a code name
I
that
was gonna
Fisk
say, yeah.
fills in abruptly? And Fisk doesn't
Probably
seem
not
that
his real name.
surprised when Mr. Charles says he's from Langley, of course the headquarters of the CIA. Mr. Charles, though? In Christopher Nolan's Inception, Mr. Charles was the name of a risky con used by the dream heisters in which you reveal to the mark that he's dreaming as a way of building trust. I don't know if this name is a reference to that, or if it's meant as a random alias to cover a name that's going to be more meaningful to Marvel lore. But Mr. Charles hands the Attorney General the phone with his boss on the line.
Yes, Miss DeFontaine.
Yes, Valentina.
I didn't
Allegra
catch that the
DeFontaine.
first time.
Julie
I
Louis
noticed
Dreyfus'
that
character, the
through a
CIA
reaction.
director in the MCU, and the point person of the new Avengers
Like
after
another
the events of the
reaction.
Thunderbolts film. So from this, we can assume that Val must want Mayor Fisk to continue to run New York City like a dictator with no oversight from the governor's office. As for what her long game is, I do have a theory that I'll share in the Theory Time segment at the end of this video. We see a wanted flyer for Karen Page where it says she was last seen at the trial of Wilson Fisk. This trial would have been all the way back in season 1 during the Netflix era when Fisk was first arrested and convicted. It's just interesting that the mayor's office now has zero shame reminding the public that he does have a criminal history. Dr. Heather Glenn, who's now Mayor Fisk's Commissioner of Mental Health, conducts a psychological evaluation of Jacques Duquesne, who first appeared in the Hawkeye series, whom Fisk had locked up at the end of season 1.
Who I still think is underutilized as a character and as an actor. Like, come on, dude. Like, I haven't watched I was gonna say Breaking Saul. I haven't watched Better Call Saul. I for sure watched Breaking Bad. Does he appear in Breaking Bad? The character that played Jack Duquesne. Sorry, I just remember the actor's name right now. But anyways, yeah, I still think he's severely underutilized. Like, come on, dude, he is a great actor. Oh, and what I was gonna say about Better Call Saul was that I've seen clips of him in that show, and he is great. Like, and I've seen him in other stuff too. So like, come on, dude, give him. He doesn't have to be a full-on superhero if that's the route that they don't want to go. Just make him a businessman who, you know, just has some, I don't know, his hobby is just choosing swords and shit or whatever. But yeah, come on, y'all need to utilize this actor way more.
Is a wealthy elite who didn't want to play ball, whom he was blackmailing with his swordsman vigilante identity. While Jack merely questions this very shady room, Heather writes down hostile, delusional, and hates authority on her notepad. And this is all while she's hallucinating the serial killer Muse pacing in the room behind Jack. Muse, remember, is dead. Heather definitely shot and killed him after he nearly cut and bled her to death, and he would have succeeded had Daredevil not intervened. But now this room tilts on Heather's perspective to make her feel like she's gonna fall back out of her chair. Clearly she's still being haunted by this ghost, a manifestation of her PTSD that she doesn't really seem to be dealing with. When Heather Glenn was first announced for the show, a lot of us were worried because she doesn't really have a handle on her mental health in the comics and has a pretty dark ending. I'm now wondering if the show is going to be taking her in that direction. Meanwhile, Matt's law partner, Kirsten McDuffie, readies her defenses for the vigilante trials, with most of these defendants just being poor people that the AVTF rounded up for whatever reason. Hey, I think you can see a photograph of Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor in her office. Kirsten butts head with DA Ben Hochberg, whom remember Matt feuded with during the Hector Ayala trial in the season 1 of Born Again. Meanwhile, private investigator Cherry responds to the text alert for a food reservation from Red Kitchen, obviously a code to meet up with Daredevil. This is how this Born Again era of Daredevil really began, with Foggy's death at Josie's at Cherry's retirement party. The AVTF raids a Greek restaurant called the Aegean Gardens. The owner, Ariana, who secretly smuggles people out of the city, calls Powell a fucking fascist, and Powell has no shame hitting this woman.
Yeah,
the captain of the Northern Star runs out in the alley past graffiti reading "No More Martial Law." Watching this show in 2026, it's hard not to see certain parallels in a fascist government authority raiding a restaurant. So much so that I was pretty surprised to read showrunner Dario Scardapani claim that the AVTF in this show was just pulled from the comics alone, not from any headlines, and he kind of just ducked the whole political question in the interview. I don't know, I just think he didn't want to alienate anyone or get his show embroiled in any controversy.
Probably,
but like, look at the show that you're making. They shot this season in 2025, and a lot of what's going on now was also going on in 2025. And really, I think this is just the responsibility that comes with doing what you're calling a street level story. Stan Lee gave every Marvel creator permission to make their stories look like the world outside of our window. I don't know why the producers of the show are just so afraid of admitting that. Now the BB report with a shot of the fuck fist graffiti pauses and pushes in on that as it's re-edited to be part of this satirical video hosted by someone wearing a Wilson Fisk mask in the style of the Max Headroom signal.
I've seen a lot of people speculate that this might just be BB herself. But my thing is though, like, why though? Why would BB do this? That's my thing. What do y'all think? I think it's keep it a bean. Only because he plays these kind of characters before with this kind of personality. I could probably see it being Matthew Lillard, but that's just like only based off of this character's performance, like, and all their mannerisms. So I could see Matthew Lillard like doing and playing a role like that. So, but that's just going based off of this like characteristics and like mannerisms, not actual like evidence. So yeah, but yeah, it could be BB, but I don't think so. Me personally, I don't think so.
Hijacking incident. This was a prank on 2 Chicago TV stations on November 22nd, 1987, in which some mystery person wearing a mask of the character of Max Headroom, which by the way was Matt Frewer's computer-generated TV host, kind of a meme during the 1980s. This prankster hacked onto these TV stations during live broadcasts and made a series of unhinged and cryptic statements that have confounded conspiracy theorists for decades. This Max Headroom kingpin strongly hints that Fisk was connected to the murder of BB's.
This part was most definitely recorded after. The audio sounds so different.
Uncle Ben Urich. We actually see a photo of the Netflix era actor Vondi Curtis Hall as Ben Urich here in the video, making me wonder who else has BB shared this conspiracy with. This video also exposes what the mayor is doing with the Freeport and includes the internal footage of Daredevil stopping the boat, calling him the dastardly do-gooder, with the same interlocking red D's of his chess logo. BB visits Daniel Blake at his cousin Greg penthouse apartment that Mayor Fisk hooked him up with. She warns Daniel that if Fisk ever goes down, it's gonna affect him too. Indeed, I think all this talk of Fisk Fisk's trust that Buck administers and Daniel living here is all designed to set up Daniel Blake as a patsy fall guy when all the shit hits the fan with Fisk. Powell tortures the captain, and after confirming it was Daredevil on the boat and he doesn't know where Christoffy is, Buck just executes him. Mr. Charles meets with Fisk and Vanessa, proving his value beyond his insults to Fisk's wife and grandstanding in the office earlier by saying his specialty is logistics and that he can clean up the offloading of the weapons from the boat by, instead of using only AVTF officers, using off-the-books dock workers from overseas and having them die in an industrial accident. Once again in this scene, there is some focus on Mr. Charles's ring, out of focus in the foreground when he rests his arm on the neighboring chair, and then in the final shot of the scene when he holds his drink. We see that BB hired a cleaning service for Daniel's apartment. I'm gonna guess.
Okay, so there might be something with the ring. Might be. Because the way the director is like putting his hand in the shot too. Okay, yeah, so there might be something with the ring.
That's when she bugged his computer. Karen, rocking another wig, tells BB that her uncle once told her that the easiest people to manipulate are the manipulators. And we never heard Ben tell Karen this in season 1 in the Netflix era, but I'm guessing this is just some advice that he told her off screen. Heather gets a call from Hochberg about her psyche eval of Jack. The vending machine in this scene has an AVTF poster, see someone say something. Heather squeezes her grip trainer and her pencil as Hochberg asks her to refill out the form data.
What kind of a like mantra or whatever logo is that? See someone say something? That sounds so broad. Like, so if I see someone on the street just walking by, am I supposed to call somebody on them just because they're walking on the street? Like, it's just says some shit like, see something suspicious, say something. Like, I don't know. That's a dumbass logo, a dumbass how do you call that? Oh my god, I can't think right now. That's a dumbass saying for them. Like, that's not the word I was looking for, but yeah, the closest I could think of. That's dumb.
To make Jack into more of a sociopath, and the camera tilts back in the other direction as it did before, as Heather sees the ghost of Muse just standing right in front of her in the room. She flashes back to when Muse was on top of her, choking her, and we hear how she posed this question to Jack from the Q&A. Evil spirits possess me sometimes, true or false? That sounds like something she's going through here. And notice how when she erases the checked box for false, she does such a sloppy job that actually leaves a mark, probably knowing that no real legal authority is gonna verify these eval forms anyway. And notice how she only ever used a pencil for all of her notes with Jack, probably so that she could erase the stuff later. As Matt trains, he mentions a borderline psychotic sensei. Yeah, a reference to Stick.
Yeah,
Matt goes
that
to
was a good
with
reference,
Karen in
though.
their training, and Karen asks him if he misses practicing with their old firm of Nelson, Murdoch, and Page. And we flash back to Foggy's final night alive from episode 1 of Born
rest in
Again.
peace.
Meanwhile, in the Aegean Gardens restaurant, we see this painting of a woman on a beach with a bull. This depicts Pasiphae, the daughter of Helios, the queen of Crete. Her husband Minos tried to sacrifice the Cretan bull to Poseidon, and Poseidon the sea god cursed Pasiphae to fall in love with the bull, and after mating with it, she gave birth to the Minotaur that would roam the labyrinth. You can actually see the Minotaur formed in their combined shadow on the sand in this painting. I don't know, maybe there's some connection here to Vanessa having to mate with the bull of Kingpin, and the sun that they form is going to be some other monster. Then in Cherry's house, we see his police badge and his plaque that explains the origin of his nickname of Cherry. His real name is Clark Pitts. The AVTF
Why do you call him Cherry then?
kicks down his door and beats him up. The big one says, I could do this all night. Kind of
The
like an
big
evil
one.
version of Steve Rogers saying, I could do this all day. Daredevil arrives and takes out both AVTF goons with his billy club, but instead of better hearing the backup, Cherry's frantically beating heart overwhelms his hearing. It was Foggy's beating heart that he latched onto in that night in Josie's, and he doesn't want to lose Cherry the same way. Matt handles the backup AVTF goons well at first. I love the fact that Cherry had all of the lights on in his house, all the lamps, all the overhead lights, all the sconces, which
Sorry,
gives
y'all, I had
these
to fix
stunts the
something real quick.
maximum level of exposure. Thank you. But Cherry's cardiac arrest reminds Matt of Foggy. Charlie Cox did tell the direct that Matt's shame room, that all the New
Oh,
Yorkers
yeah.
during the
Sorry, I know this is like not random because they're talking about the scene, but that was the best fight scene choreography in Daredevil Born Again so far. Like, don't get me wrong, season 1 of Born Again, the episode where Matt and Bullseye are fighting, that shit is fire too, but there's just way too many CG replacements. Like, I'm trying to say, it's go rewatch that scene and you'll see what I mean. Like, sometimes they look like freaking gummy worms. Like, it looks kind of crazy with the CG replacements, the CG body doubles. There we go. This one was fire. It was all in camera. Of course, obviously, probably besides the baton and it hitting people and extending. But everything else, bro, especially the choreography, fire.
Thunderbolts movie were sucked into would have involved Foggy's death. The AVTF goons beat Matt down and unmask him, but then all four are taken down with perfectly aimed knives, killing them. There's actually a fifth knife that comes ricocheting through the home and lands right in front of Matt, a dark blue blade with "You're welcome" in a bullseye logo etched in the middle. I love that Matt was unmasked for this moment because the look of shock that Charlie Cox gives upon hearing the knife land inches from his face. Now remember, this Daredevil does not see a perfectly echolocated surface like Ben Affleck's Daredevil did, but he does see a world on fire painting, and Dex and everything he hurls in Matt's direction blazes hot.
So why would Dex save Matt Murdock in this moment? Maybe after Matt jumped in front of the bullet that Dex meant for Mayor Fisk, Bullseye feels a little bad that the guy who knocked out his tooth that he used to free himself is now just getting it from the mayor's goon squad. Maybe Dex now sees himself as a vigilante equally endangered by Fisk's policies that make him want to join Matt's resistance.
Please don't. Please don't. Please don't. Marvel, please don't. Don't do this. Don't do that. Don't do that. Bullseye in the comics, it is a complete fucking psychopath. Like, complete psychopath. Do not turn this dude into a vigilante. Do not make him soft. Keep this dude psychotic. Please, keep this dude, like, crazy. Keep this dude off the chain. Like, whatever you do, please, Marvel Studios, do not make Bullseye a vigilante or anti-hero. No. No, 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 no. Keep Bullseye insane. He is a maniac. Please and thank you.
Maybe Dex just feels overly manipulated by Vanessa Fisk and wants to enact some vengeance there. I don't know, I can't imagine Matt and Karen would allow Dex into their ranks after what he did to Foggy, and let's not forget Agent Ray Nadeem and Father Lantom. But hey, maybe if, like the American colonies having to join or die to overthrow the tyrannical forces of a king, if Massachusetts and Virginia could learn to love each other, maybe the conflict that all these vigilantes are facing is that existential, and perhaps aiming Bullseye's expert precision at their temporary shared enemy is the only clear path through the chaotic noise of their beating hearts of their friends. This episode was titled The Northern Star, of course after the capsized ship. While the star Polaris is often called the North Star, I still see this title as a thematic reflection of the question, what is the true north that guides these characters right now? I believe they're all guided by the same Northern Star of justice, but justice just looks completely different to each of them based on their current circumstances.
True.
All right, theory time. See, I'm trying to save my bigger swing theories for sections at the ends of these videos so I don't accidentally spoil folks who just want to stay surprised episode by episode. Okay, what's the long game among Fisk, Val, Mr. Charles, and the CIA? Well, here's a theory. I think Val might be trying to form this deal with Mayor Fisk to round up vigilantes and, sure, maybe some enhanced persons as well in the city as part of a future anti-mutant campaign that we're going to continue to follow in Spider-Man Brand New Day, especially since Jessica Jones is returning this season, and there was that memorable line in Jessica Jones season 1 where she mentioned having 99 friends in New York City.
You wanted to know how many of us there are? The last time I counted, I had 99 gifted friends in this borough alone.
Those 99 people could comprise the list that Val has in mind that she's going to hand over to the mayor to round up using his thugs. Remember where Val is now in the MCU. She probably wants exclusive control over her own new Avengers, which remember is a group composed mostly of super soldiers and government experiments. There's no one on that team with naturally born abilities. I don't think Fisk distinguishes between vigilantes who have powers and ones who are just normal humans, but I do think the legal precedent to suspend civil liberties and this thing that Val and Mr. Charles are trying to do of distributing weaponry through that Red Hook Freeport that's going to include some munitions from the Ox group that we saw in a trailer shot of Jessica Jones. That might lead to a place where we see Sentinel parts being loaded through this port. Comment down below with your thoughts on all this. And a special thanks to one of our YouTube members, TDS on a Quest, for supporting us at the executive producer level. You can get all of our bonus benefits by clicking on the link in the description or going to nrunderground.supercast.com. Big thanks to Studio Tech Brian Kim, New Rockstars editors Joshua Stephen Hurd and Abby Friel, and all the supporting editors for their work on this video. Follow me at EA Voss and subscribe to all the channels in the New Rockstars network for breakdowns and news coverage of everything you love. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.
But like always, like, comment, subscribe, and deuces.